I didn't do a slideshow. This is a still of FIT. In my late teens and early 20s, I went there at night and on the weekends and waitress during the day and some evenings. Um, that's where I really learned to focus and discipline myself. I also used to go to Art Students League, but that place is, they don't assign things. They don't take attendance. It's up to you. I I went to the Art Students League for about half a year because I helped with the renovation, and because there were no more cash jobs, I would renovate in exchange for scholarship. And then I went to the FIT night school, and I to focus and to discipline myself. When I wasn't working or in class, I was doing my homework, which is like doing paintings. They were on illustration boards and not on canvases because I was learning illustration, commercial art for to be photographed. And at that time, magazine covers, record covers, reading cards, book covers, they were all or mostly um, made by hand and photographed. Yeah, and so I was working and taking 12 to 15 credits per semester. I was also supporting a grown ass man. Um, I was a generous and kind person, and this person always had a sob story. Also, we ended up being in a relationship. He's hit me a few times, but it wasn't like every day like my father hit me. Um, he didn't say that I had to work to support him like my father and mother did, but he'd lie. He'd not come home. He says he didn't cheat on me, but he was out all night drinking and staying over at his friend's place. He said he lied about gambling and whatever money he had to eat out and bet on horses at off-track betting instead of contributing to rent. And he says he couldn't find work, whatnot. And I wanted to be a kind person, unlike my parents. Um, so my late teens and early 20s was very, very challenging. Plus, I was dance training. Whatever time I had left, I had enough money to take dance classes. So and at that time, I had no idea I'd end up performing or choreographing. But anyway, I was just I always have been very hardworking. And I thought I didn't know about boundaries. I didn't know about myself, that I'm allowed to say no. And I didn't see I was being abused and being taken advantage of. And now I look back, it's disgusting that I was having sex with him. And he just, he is 5, 6 years older than me. I was in my teens, he's grown. Um, so I was in other relationships with older people. I guess when I was 18, somebody who's 9 years older, and I pay his way because he kept on getting fired. He was living with his mom. I was living on my own. Anyways, but FIT, the focus, the discipline, that plus dance training. And that's why, although I'm disabled, I I've been striving to I strove to get out of work, get out of disability and work. Although it never happened, and my health kept declining, and then my injury health kept declining. But that's how I learned discipline. Um, to meditate an hour at a time when my back can handle it. to go far in my yoga practice, and eventually be able to do pose, what they call advanced poses, and then be able to get people in poses. Um, so FIT, and because it's too cold to take pictures and make a slideshow, and so it's just a still. I'm sorry about that. Also, I had listened to the Lolita podcast. I've had Wi-Fi um, at the pet sitting places, and I listened to the Lolita podcast. Um, I listen to it on iHeartRadio, but it's on different platforms. Um, the I think her name is Loftus, Miss Loftus, talks about how child sex abuse is not something to be taken lightly, and the girls shouldn't be. Um, it's not on them. They're not seductresses. They're children. But also, she mentions about even when child sex abuse is talked about, it's white girls, um, white girls, sometimes middle class. Um, and if you go back to October, is my post on YouTube is not cute, innocent fun. It seems it's starting to hit me that Asian girls and women are sexual objects. Um, yeah, and we're supposed to be sexually abused, and we're supposed to take it. We're supposed to be docile. We're supposed to. Um, it's okay if they're Asian. It seems. Um, and I've seen somebody post, an artist post about pornography, Asian women portrayed in pornography. Um, yeah, that we want to be brutalized, or it's okay to brutalize Asian women. I've also, before this guy, I supported but the one when I was 18 and he was 29. He's the one make fun of Japanese businessmen, and I was laughing along with him. Making fun of Japanese accents and cultures, and I was laughing along with him. I kind of didn't like Asian culture because I was told that by my parents that all Japanese kids are treated much worse than I was, which is a lie, and they say in Japan if I was a boy, my father would have shot me dead with a gun. I didn't know that there were no guns in Japan, not even the police carry guns. I mean, there are. Yes, the underworld has guns. I've seen those Yakuza movies. But they also, they tell me also stuff like all Japanese children go to Tokyo University. And I said, what about the people who are hairdressers and waitresses? She says there are none, which is a lie. But this is the kind of batshit crazy I went through. So, yeah, and that I was supposed to support my parents by being a lawyer or doctor by day, and then sex services at night. And they said that was about being Japanese. So yeah, I kind of hated Japan on some level at that time when I was 18. Um, so yes, the the podcast is much more than it's amazing. It's amazing, and it's much more than child sex abuse shouldn't be centered. The discussion about it shouldn't be just centered on white girls. But how abusive Humbert was, how he's mentally ill, how people read it wrong, all that. So listen to the Lolita podcast. And also, yeah, uh, I was brutalized physically, yes, by my parents, but also mentally. I didn't have a baseline of who I was. I wasn't allowed to be myself. I was told, growing up, I was told that I was owned by my parents. The food I eat isn't mine. The clothes I wear, even if they were hand me downs, they weren't given to me. It was given to them. They own me. I don't own anything. My body is not mine. I'm not allowed to have thoughts, feelings, physical sensations. Like, I wasn't allowed to cry when I was in pain or talk about pain. This, you don't know. But some of us, this is our reality. And this is why I'm still homeless. I have a housing voucher, but I can't find someone to rent to me. I'm under a roof because I'm pet sitting. And, I'm trustworthy and clean and responsible. I had, I learned about discipline and integrity and, doing right. Probably through, very learning very difficult things, painting, drawing, dance, and it got to be, at a professional level. So I realize now that I'm uneven. Um, I'm very hardworking because I thought I had to be, because I was not nothing. I wasn't acceptable. And I'm very nice because I had really cruel parents. But I'm learning I can be nice without sacrificing myself. And yeah, I guess this upload is about how, you know child sex abuse survivors cannot be well, cannot hold it together, do get them can get themselves into exploitative and abusive situations, even if they broke free of their abusers, um, because their mind is warped, their reality is warped, um, and on top of that, I was physically abused, so I'm still injured, and it hurts. But also wanted to say that it gave me an advantage when it comes to the arts. I was used to being uncomfortable. I was used to being in pain. I was used to working harder than others and under bad circumstances. I wasn't used to socializing or watching TV or, going out. So I was able to focus. I'm not saying it's good. I'd, yeah, I think it's a more peaceful life to be normal. But, the person who lets me stay when I'm not pet sitting is that man who, exploited me, who I used to, support when I was very, very young. Um, he didn't want to at first, but we stayed friends, and he thought that if he'd leave it alone, something good would happen. 12 years I've been in unsafe places and I had to leave Philadelphia, so I've been staying with him when I'm not pet sitting. It's a fob key and he's roommate, so I can't just come and go as I please. I have to coordinate to go there to sleep. Um, there's only one fob key per person, they can't be copied. So, it's not like I'm staying with a friend where I have a set of keys and I can stay on the couch. Um, but he doesn't want me on the streets. So, and I think he's still lying to me. Um, he says things about the past like that he minimizes the damage he's done to me. He also lies that I wasn't a teenager when I was supporting him, but I remember being 19. He says I was 21, but I remember because we met at a restaurant where we both worked, and I remember how old I was when I started working there. So, this is a long post, but, yeah, this is a photo of MIT where I learned discipline and hard work leads to professional level um, results. And wow. Now that I look back, I was an amazing teenager, although full of faults and erratic shit because of the way I was treated until I left at 16. And then I was treated by men who took advantage of me. But, now I'm 52 now. I'm kind of amazed at who I am. I accomplished a lot. People think that I'm not hardworking, but I've been that injured, since 2016. Um, yeah. So, thank you for listening. Um, they cut off my food stamps because I have no address, so if you can, send me something through the, um, buy me a coffee, that'll be great. And, I send love to all survivors of child sex abuse, child physical abuse, child mental abuse, and all young adults and older adults who are being who are survivors of abuse. Okay, bye.